Bill Poole is the owner of One Fresh Stir Fry. The restaurant owner says his goose was nearly cooked when former Department of Revenue employee Dolores Speed made fake tax receipts and pocketed the money. When the state came after him, Poole fortunately had the real receipts, a problem he compared to a near traffic accident.
What just happened was that I walked out in front of a car and somebody pulled me back.
For her more than $14,000 theft, Speed was ordered to pay restitution at a snail's pace, $1 a month or more than 1,200 years to pay it off. Facing that payoff, Speed recently asked a judge to let her go on a cruise she says was a gift for her 50th birthday.
Rather than going on a cruise, she ought to be paying that money back.
State Attorney Willie Megg's office requested a hearing to object, but Judge Kevin Carroll signed off on the trip without one.
It just doesn't strike me as the right thing to do and the right message to send.
According to her schedule, Speed is now taking a slow boat to Mexico. Friday's schedule calls for a fun day at sea with an arrival in Cozumel on Saturday. Poole calls it an ongoing slap in the face.
That woman who put my life, my family, everything I worked for at risk gets away scot-free.
I certainly wouldn't want anybody drinking when they're in charge of my children. You know, that's how I look at it now.
Christina West admits she made mistakes the night she crashed into a home in Tallahassee's Killearn neighborhood at about 2 in the morning, August 10, 2013. She says she'd had a couple beers after spending the day with 3 16-year-old boys in Panama City, all of them foreign exchange students, and they'd only been in the U.S. about a week.
I think the biggest factor in the accident was just I was having a great time and having fun and just not using good judgment.
Tallahassee dashcam video shows 2 officers slamming West into a patrol car and ultimately on the ground. This sequence of photos shows how West looked and then slowly recovered after that encounter. West's cheek was fractured to the point where bone fragments had to be surgically removed through a cut in her eye socket. West also says the encounter made a pre-existing hip condition worse. And with bolts in her neck similar to one she's had in her back, she says she feels lucky she wasn't paralyzed or killed.
There's things about the video that I didn't even remember. And I watched it back and I was just shocked.
4 TPD officers were suspended, not because of the injuries they caused to West, but because they took her straight to jail and failed to get her medical attention first.
They knew I was injured. I told them it's swelling. And they said, I don't care.
I want to be out there on the field with my team, but I did something, so I got to accept my consequences, and I'm going to apologize to my team.
According to multiple tweets from Florida State students and national media reports, Jameis Winston repeated the words of a popular video loudly near the FSU Student Union. That phrase involved a swear word to describe a sex act with a woman and an offensive word describing a part of the female anatomy.
When you're in that kind of position in a university as a starting quarterback, you just have a different level of expectations.
Don't punish the whole team, please, or my heart, because I would really cry if we lost to Clemson.
I'm not a me person, but in that situation, that was a selfish act.
Winston's vile public language about women comes after he was investigated as a rape suspect. An investigation did not uncover enough evidence for a prosecution. Winston then walked out of a Tallahassee grocery store with about $30 worth of crab legs without paying. Now he's being punished again for bad public behavior.
It's embarrassing for the whole college, I think, and it reflects poorly on all of us.
We attempted to ask Winston if Coach Fisher has told him what might happen to him if he has any future bad behavior, but were cut off and the news conference ended. You screw up again, is there a consequence?
Thanks, James.
Thank you.
Andy Alcock, WCTV Eyewitness News. Woody Hildebrand's farm is at the center of a criminal investigation. As Eyewitness News first reported last week, Lively Tech welding instructor Man Roberts claims Hildebrand stole materials from the school to build a fence and for other uses at the farm. Now Hildebrand's brother-in-law, Keith Moore, tells Eyewitness News he took part in that theft and filed his own whistleblower complaint claiming the Lively Tech principal orchestrated the theft.
Basically, no investigation was taking place, and that didn't seem right to me.
State Attorney Willie Megg says when the case was first brought to his attention, he referred it to the Leon County Sheriff's Office. LCSO then referred it to FDLE. But when Meggs found out FDLE hadn't started to look at the case, Meggs assigned it to his investigator, Doug Paul.
Well, if there's a case, we'll certainly prosecute it, but the matter has to be investigated first.
The timing is very questionable.
Hildebrand's attorney Tim Jansen points out the Lively principal filed his own whistleblower complaint in May against the school district about the awarding of construction contracts. A federal subpoena has been issued for documents and for at least one school's administrator to appear before a grand jury.
It could be argued that the purpose is to intimidate the federal investigation.
Protesters wanted popular Leon High School principal Rocky Hanna to stay in that job. But in June 2012, Superintendent Jackie Pons moved Hanna and other principals to administrative positions. At the time, Pons said the moves wouldn't cost taxpayers any more money, and the principals were taking jobs vacated by retiring administrators.
These positions were critical, they were important, and I feel like we brought a strong team out to our district.
Hanna took the position of Bev Owens, whose deferred retirement date was July 31st, 2013. But schools' records show Owens never left. In August 2013, those records show LCS paid a temporary employment agency $99,000 for Owens' services. Another $99,000 was set aside for Owens this past July. Yet school records show she's technically not an employee. Owens isn't alone. Records show other top administrators who've retired have been paid hundreds of thousands of dollars through temporary agencies. We first asked for an on-camera interview with Leon County School Superintendent Jackie Pons or any school representative on Friday. That request was denied. Instead, we were sent this statement by email on Tuesday. That statement in part says Leon County Schools has been working with temporary staffing agencies for nearly 20 years to occasionally hire employees to supplement our workforce. One of those agencies is Tri-State Employment on John Knox Road. We were unable to get comment from Tri-State. The company's headquarters are in New York City.